Ever wondered if a TV show could somehow predict the future, or at least seem to, for making sure to subscribe and hit that like button before we dive into this curious story. Seinfeld, known for turning mundane annoyances into comedy gold, often explored dark topics with a casual flair. Um, its humor thrived on the absurd and the awkward, making viewers laugh even when the comedy brushed against uncomfortable truths. In one of its episodes, Elaine dates a man named Joel Rifkin. For those who don't know, Rifkin is a notorious serial killer. Elaine's initial reaction is horror when she finds out his name, especially after he's announced over uh, the stadium loudspeaker at a Giants game. She suggests changing his name to avoid the embarrassment. An amusing miniature crisis. The twist, when Joel considers his new name, Elaine pitches Dion after Deion Sanders, but he rejects it, and then she jokes about OJ, inspired by OJ. Simpson. Today, that joke feels eerily prescient. The episode aired in November 1993, just months before Simpson was accused of murder in June 1994. At that time, OJ sat up, was still celebrated as a football hero, unaware of the dark storm ahead. This coincidence isn't just darkly funny, it feels like a glitch in the universe, that the writers had no way of knowing what was coming. Yet the joke now carries a chilling resonance that few shows could achieve. And, it's a reminder that comedy can sometimes stumble across truths we'd rather not face. And Seinfeld wasn't shy about dark humor. Recall the suicide, where Jerry jokes about a man who attempted suicide, or the bris, where a suicide jump on George's car becomes a punchline. Even in the episode The Foundation, George's fiance's death from licking cheap wedding envelopes is treated as a minor inconvenience. The show's bluntness often skirted tragedy, amplifying its dark charm. What makes this all stand out is how naturally the show spun these grim topics into its fabric without feeling preachy or moralizing. They presented life's messiness without strings attached, which is why it still resonates. Its characters act foolishly, often inappropriately, and never pretend to be perfect. They're just people behaving badly. And this relaxed attitude contributes to Seinfeld's timeless appeal. And you mentioned the inevitable impact. Its humor isn't tied to cultural trends, but to human folly, awkward moments, social blunders, trivial anxieties. When revisited, the series offers fresh laughs because it captures those universal truths. And sometimes history quietly whispers back that joke about OJ. Simpson, it feels less like a joke and more like a dark prophecy. That comedy, after all, often reveals uncomfortable truths in disguise. And Seinfeld's genius lies in its effortless delivery of the mundane, the bizarre, and sometimes the eerily prescient. If you think about it, trying to predict the future with humor is a bit like trying to catch a butterfly. Beautiful, frustrating, and often just out of reach. But in Seinfeld's case, it seems like the butterfly landed right in the middle of one of its absurd scenes. Like, it's, uh, remember, humor's power doesn't always lie in what's said, but in what's hinted at beneath the surface. And if you're ever feeling down, just remember there's probably a sitcom somewhere making jokes about the chaos we live through daily. Um, with that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.